November 3rd, 2016. I finished listening to Chapter 9 of Mosiah. It's the first part of the reign of King Zenith. So I don't remember what I said yesterday about what Zenith said the Lamanites held their value or thought was good. But the further we read into this, the further we see that it wasn't, they weren't not idolaters. They were idolaters. They didn't seek power over each other as Lamanites. They sought power over the Nephites. But when Zenith, there was a battle among the people that wanted to go to the land of Nephi, and between the ones that wanted to attack the Lamanites versus Zenith and his plea to make a treaty. Zenith went back to Zarahemla with the survivors, and then he still had that desire to possess the land of Nephi. So he went back, talked to the king of the Lamanites, who they called Laman, and King Laman felt it was okay to let them have that land back. And I guess there were buildings and land. There was land that was in disarray and needed tending to. So Zenith and his people, they repaired the buildings and they cultivated the land and they farmed and developed their agricultural skills. And then about 13 years into this period, which, think about it, it's not very long, but it is a long time. They had not lived there. The Nephites didn't live in that land for a couple hundred years before Zenith went back and was given that land. So for that long a time to not possess this land, and then 13 years into it, which is not very long when you think of a kingdom, a dynasty, right? 13 years in, they get attacked. And thankfully Zenith and his people, they still remembered, they remembered God, and they remembered their deliverance from Jerusalem. So they defended their lands prayerfully and under the protection and guidance of God. So the reason this happened was that the Lamanites they didn't want the Nephites to become so powerful that they could wipe them out. And those concerns, I gotta say, for the Lamanites are legitimate, because when the Nephites become prosperous and they forget the Lord, what do? They seek more power, and they desire to possess more and to destroy one another. So I think the Lamanites' fear of this was a legitimate fear, despite the way they went about it. They went about it in a poor way. Unfortunately, there was a battle that ensued, and many Lamanites died, and some of the Nephites also died. The important thing to remember here is the lesson to take home, I guess, from Zenith's example is, one, always be prepared, because they didn't know that the Lamanites were going to do this. It just kind of happened upon them. While some people are out in the fields, Lamanites came and plundered and pillaged. Then they ran back to the city of Nephi, where they prepped themselves. They got themselves armed and more armored. They made as many weapons as they could invent, and they went to battle. So, being prepared for possible contingencies. You never know when your neighbors are going to turn on you. Not to dehumanize stop, if they're going to continue trying to kill and just take and not serve, then we have to defend ourselves. It's not unrighteous to defend our right to choose, to defend our freedom, and to defend our lives so that we can grow and learn. So it seems to me that Zenoff understood that very well, according to his writings anyway. But yeah, be prepared and serve your neighbors, love them, because you never know when they might turn and not love you. So be prepared for anything, but still don't dehumanize your neighbors just because there's this small possibility that they could do something unsavory. Alright, those are some of my thoughts. November 3rd, 2016.